They're a bunch of bad people, but we kicked their ass, and we're going to continue to do well. And I appreciate it. And there was nobody more loyal than Mr. Kaufman, who's fantastic, and Iowa, and his son, who's maybe more fan. Where the hell is he? Stand up. Where's your boy? His son is better than him, I'm telling you. And he doesn't mind. I have a lot of fathers who would be very insulted if I said that, but they're bad people. He's a good guy. He's got a son who's fantastic. You know that. I think he's probably here someplace. Where is? Oh, he's better looking than you, too. Good. Thank you. Great job. Nobody more loyal than the people of Iowa during that period of time when we had to show our stuff. But we just celebrated the 250th anniversary of the Army at Fort Bragg. You know, they changed the name, and we changed it back to Fort Bragg. The people of North Carolina came up, they said, sir, we want to really have the name of Fort Bragg back. Everybody was saying that. They kept calling it Fort Bragg. I changed it back. You know, these radical left lunatics changed the name of Fort Bragg. So we won World War II. We won World War I. We won other wars. We won everything from Fort Bragg and other places that we were also changing many of them back. And then we decided to change the name. Now, I tell people, you know, it's incredible. We're the only people. We win 2 world wars from a place, and then we say, let's change the name. So we change it back, and the people are very happy in North Carolina right now. And we just celebrated, because the 250 was for the Army, was 1 year earlier than which makes sense. You know, we had a little army, we did well, and you know, we have a nation. So it was 1 year earlier than the nation itself. And we had a beautiful parade in Washington, D.C. the other day. It was fantastic. You know, it was amazing because the weather was so overcast and it looked so bad. And a week before, they said, oh, it's going to rain. I said, oh, man, we're bringing all these Army tanks. We're bringing all these people, these men and women. They're going to march down Fifth Avenue or wherever. This is terrible. It's going to rain. And then on the day, we woke up. Rain is projected all night long, heavy. Oh, I'm saying I'll get my hair soaking wet. My hair's going to be soaking wet. I'll be crazy. I'll say, you know, this is terrible. It's going to rain 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The thing was at 8 in the evening, 1 o'clock. Rain is forecast at levels you haven't seen before. I said, oh, this is, and so the generals called me, sir, we could change it, but this is the Army. We're sort of used to bad weather. I said, no, don't change it. I'll wear a raincoat, and I'll wear a big fat hat so I don't get totally drenched. I'll be okay. I'm such a tough cookie. And then what happens? We get there, and there's no rain, and we go 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours of watching these great guys marching down Fifth Avenue. It never rained. And then I thought to myself, global warming, they're telling us what's going to happen in 250 years to our planet, but they can't tell us it's going to rain 3 hours before the event. In 250 years from now, the planet's going to burn up or freeze up. And you know, remember when they said, they called it global warming, then global cooling. They had all different things. Now they just changed it to climate change, because climate change you can't miss. How's it doing? Climate change every time. If it's cold, if it's hot, if it's rainy, if it's sunny, if it's too crazy, we have climate change. But think of it. They're telling you what's going to happen in 100 years. The oceans are going to rise 1/4 of an inch and everyone's going to be wiped out. No, you're going to have more oceanfront property if that happens. It's okay. Not the worst. And think of it, with all of the nuclear weapons, remember Biden had always used to say, it is it's an existential threat. He loves the word existential. It's an existential threat. What is? I don't know, climate change. Remember that? Always, that's dangerous too, because they're going to take that thing, and they're going to say, he couldn't say existential. So you can't imitate people either. Remember I used to imitate Biden, couldn't get off the stage, and I'd walk into walls? And I called my wife, because it's always on television, and I said, how was it, baby? How good was that? We had 44,000 people. Nobody else could do it. I have to brag a little bit, you know, because what the hell? There's a little truth to that. But I brag a little bit. I say, how good was I? You were really good, but, you know, what happened? You couldn't find this. You couldn't get off the stage. I said, no, I was imitating Biden. No, well, that's not the way it showed up. They showed you hitting walls, bunking your head on walls. So even like the word existential, when I imitate him saying it, tonight it's going to be on CNN. He couldn't speak. He couldn't say the word. These are seriously sick people. But now, this fall, we're also going to be celebrating 250 birthdays of the United States Navy and the United States Marines. They're all good. And I'm a little prejudiced, and one of them is going to be really great. It's called Space Force, because that was my baby. Remember, they wanted to terminate it. First year of Biden's administration, they wanted to terminate Space Force, and the military wouldn't let them. And it's turned out to be one of the most important there is. I was very proud of that Space Force, and they're doing great. In addition, just as I promised 5 years ago tonight in my speech at Mount Rushmore, where a certain governor at that time, who's now our Homeland Security Chief, Kristi Noem, stand up, Kristi. Now I don't have to introduce you later. You know, I hired Tom Homan for the border, and I said, Tom, I want you to give me who'd be the best to be the Secretary of Homeland Security, which is essentially his boss. He said, Kristi Noem, sir. I said, Kristi Noem? You gotta be kidding. She's a great person, she's smart, but I mean, is she tough enough? Sir, she's the toughest person around. I said, and she is. She's tough as hell. I've learned. I'll tell you, a lot of bad people have learned, and she's done a fantastic job. Thank you. Thank you. But we're going to be officially opening the National Garden of American Heroes, a vast outdoor park featuring statues of the greatest Americans who ever lived. You know, they took down a lot of our statues. They took down statues of some of the greatest people that we've ever had living. I stopped them from taking down Thomas Jefferson. They wanted to take the Thomas Jefferson Memorial. They wanted to rip the hell out of the statue inside. You can imagine who they were going to put up. Let's get rid of Thomas Jefferson. So we stopped them. We signed a law. Do you remember that night? It was crazy. And they were marching toward the Jefferson Memorial, and I took out an old bill from 1909, and it was a bill that if you so much as touched, old, because today they don't do these things. They don't do it like they used to. Today you could never get it passed. It said if you so much as touch a monument or a statue, you go to jail for a 10-year period. No anything. So they were marching down there, and in the middle of their march, I gave a news conference. I said, anybody that touches, and I'm signing, immediately goes to jail for a 10-year period. That march broke up so quickly you've never seen. They said, it's a miracle. What happened? I signed a little bill that said you go to jail for a 10-year period. It was a great thing. It was an old bill that wasn't used. In fact, I don't know. I hope we don't have to use it again. But they're learning that, you know, we saved Los Angeles. If we didn't send in the National Guard, I would have sent it in the military if they needed it. But if we didn't send in the National Guard, Los Angeles would have been burned down to the ground just like half of their houses were burned down to the ground because they didn't give water that they had plenty of. I'm pleased to report that the One Big Beautiful Bill includes full funding for those statues, and we're going to do statues to our greatest Americans, and we're going to let the people choose who they are. You better choose me. No, I'm only kidding. I should take myself out. I think I should take myself out, Susie. Our great Chief of Staff, the first woman Chief of Staff. Can you believe it? Susie Wiles, stand up, Susie. And that beautiful exterior, don't let it fool you. She's rough and tough. She got rated the most powerful woman anywhere in the world. She can take out a country with a mere phone call, which is true. Actually, it's very true in her case. And she's done a great job. We're doing okay, Susie? Looking good. We had a good 2 weeks, right? This had to be the best 2 weeks. Has anybody ever had a better 2 weeks than that? Next, to bring back our people together, through the power of sports, America 250 will also host a brand new, first-of-its-kind youth athletes. It's a competition known as the Patriot Games, and it features top high school athletes from all 50 states. It's going to be great. And this phenomenal patriotic sporting event will be nationally televised, and it will be led by our great Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy, Jr., who's really doing it. He's great, and he's a little different, right? We needed somebody different. You know, autism. You go back, I guess, 18 years, 10 10,000, think of this, out of 10,000 people, okay? 10,000 people, and I'll go a little different way. Right now, out of 10,000 people, 18 people don't have, they're safe. 18 people. We have a statistic on autism that's the worst I've ever seen, and he's going to change it. He's going to change it. It used to be 20 years ago, you just didn't have it. And now it's numbers that are unbelievable, where the numbers are so bad, it's got to be artificially induced, and we're going to find out what it is and when. We're going to find it out as soon as possible. I mean, you think about it, the numbers have increased by 200-fold, and that's really something, and we're going to get to the bottom of it. That's a terrible situation. Likewise, under the leadership of Secretary Burgum, who's here right now, he was a great governor of North Carolina. Great governor of North Dakota. Where is he? Where is he? Mr. Secretary. And he's in charge of energy plus a lot of land. He's the biggest landlord, I guess, in the world. But he was a great governor of North Dakota, and he was very special in so many ways. He became an energy expert. And he came to me, and I said, I want you to be the head of energy. He said, no, we have one man that's better than me, and that was Chris, right? And put him in charge, and we merged the two, and he's got all the land with all the oil, and the other one has all the expertise to get the oil out of the land. And Chris is doing great, and you're doing great, Doug, and I appreciate it, and say hello to Catherine and everybody. You're doing a great job. We have a great cabinet. So every one of our national park, battlefields, and historic sites are going to have special events in honor of America 250. And I even think we're going to have a UFC fight. We're going to have, does anybody watch UFC, the great Dana White? We're going to have a UFC fight. We're going to have a UFC fight. Think of this, on the grounds of the White House. We have a lot of land there. We're going to build a little, we're not, Dana's going to do it. Dana's great, one of a kind. We're going to have a UFC fight, championship fight. Full fight, like 20, 25,000 people. And we're going to do that as part of 250 also. We're going to have some incredible events, some professional events, some amateur events, but the UFC fight's going to be a big deal too. And to fund improvements and enhanced experiences across the park system, for this anniversary, I've just signed an executive order to raise entrance fees for foreign tourists while keeping prices low for Americans, and we're going to do that. The national parks will be about America first. We're going to take it America first for the national parks. And these are just a few of the many programs, initiatives, celebrations that will renew for our national pride. We're going to have great pride. I think we do have great pride. I think we have more pride and more spirit in our country right now than we've had in 50 years. And together we're going to ensure that America's 250th anniversary is the single greatest year in the history of our country. We want to have a lot of great things. A lot of the things that Bobby and Health and Human Services are doing are going to come up during that period of time. And we're going to come up with a lot of tremendous things for health and safety. And economically, we're going to have the strongest country anywhere in the world. And the bill that we just got approved today was, think of that, all of those votes. 2 negative votes, but we had no Democrats, 2 negative votes in the Republicans out of all that. So I want to thank those great Republicans that voted to get it in. You know, we could only lose 3. If we lost 3, trouble. Now, we didn't lose 3. We lost 2, and I'm sure if I needed the 2, I could have gotten them too. But we're pleased to be joined tonight by many friends who will help make that possible, including, and I introduced Doug Burgum already from North Dakota, and just a great. He was really one of the best. Was he a better governor than you? Would you say, Christy? Was he better than you? I don't know. Because they were neighbors, you know. You had North Dakota, you had South Dakota. Brooke Rollins, thank you, Brooke. Great job. She's now the agricultural secretary. Christy Nome, great governor also, but she's doing I don't know, this. Do you like this better than being governor? Don't say. Don't say. They love you in the state. Don't say. maybe the most important guy in this whole place. You know, a lot of projects have stopped using environmental stuff. A lot of projects have stopped. They use it as a weapon, the radical left and others. They use it as a weapon. This man is the greatest. He's doing a job that's incredible. Doug would tell you that. Everybody will tell you that. Lee Zeldin. He's the head of the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency. He's the head of it. Great guy. He was a great politician, a tremendous congressman. He ran for governor of New York, which is tough. And he almost won. I'm glad he didn't win, actually. I wouldn't have you right now. And I said, Lee, a nuclear power plant, we give you 1 week to get me the approval. So, but he's been done great. And we have factories and we have plants all over the world right now, and they're being built and they're going up. Also, Governor Kim Reynolds from Iowa. Thank you, Kim. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. And Lieutenant Governor Chris Corner. Where's Chris? Chris Corner. Thank you, Chris, very much. Great job. You have Senator Chuck Grassley and Joni Ernst. Chuck! Hi, Chuck. Wow. Wow. That's great. He's doing great, too. He's got more energy than all of us. And where's Joni? Is Joni here? Hi, Joni. Very good. Good job. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Joni. And you have members of Congress, Ashley Hinson, Marionette Miller Meeks, Zach Nunn, Randy Feenstra. Good group. We flew in together, and boy, they were nice. They were so happy at that victory today, weren't you? Randy, thank you very much. Thank you very much. That was great. We had a good flight. We have an ambassador who's been my friend for a long time, Monica Crowley. I heard her speak. I thought she did really well. Thank you, Monica. And you know Matt Whitaker, a man from Iowa, ambassador to NATO. We also had a person, I have to give her credit, Brenna Byrd, Attorney General. She came out and she endorsed me very early, and I appreciate it. Where's Brenna? Hi, Brenna. She came out, she endorsed me. I said, thank you very much. Who the hell is that? She's great. Former State Senator Brad Zahn. Oh, my man, there he is. I haven't seen you. He was the first man in the entire country that endorsed me, right? Not just from Iowa. He endorsed me 3 months before I ran. He said, that guy from New York should run. So I want to thank you. Really great. You're looking good, too. He's like the Marlboro Man, you know? He looks like the Marlboro Man. Handsome guy. Iowa Speaker, Pat Grassley. Pat, thank you very much, Pat. Good. Nice to see you, Pat. Iowa Senate Majority Leader, Jack Whitver. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Jack. Iowa House Majority Leader-elect, Bobby Kaufman. Thank you, Bobby. Great future. Great future. A friend of mine, Dan Newland, who's the most generous human being. He gives away. He hears somebody's in trouble. He hears somebody's in trouble, and he goes wild, and he's just a very good guy. And Jeff Kaufman, the head of your party here, is so, come on, stand up, Jeff. You can stand up. Thank you, Jeff. Great job. And Jeff was with me right from the beginning. When I was complaining about things, I'd call him. He'd do it sometimes. It was better as I started winning, right? But Jeff has been great. He's a great leader. Thank you very much, Jeff, for being here. And I have to say that Lee Greenwood has been unbelievable. That song, where is Lee? Is he around here? That song, it's the hottest song of its kind. #1 of its kind. You know, it's a certain genre. But thank you, Lee, very much. Real great song and great talent. This Independence Day, let's also give a very special thanks to every veteran and military service member here tonight for their outstanding devotion to our country. And I also want to thank you, fellas. Stand up, fella. Look at them. They're in good shape. Thank you very much. Wow. That's a lot of veterans. Thank you very much. What an honor. I also want to thank the large group of Iowa pastors and faith leaders for their beautiful prayers, including Pastors Joshua Kent, Tammy Hall, Joseph Hall, Corrine Sturtz, Maureen Prakash, Aji Prakash, Dan McCoy, Rose Kessler, Michael DeJong, Jose Rodriguez, and ministry leaders Virginia Calligary, Sarah Kent, and thanks also to Bob Vanderplatz. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Stand up. You're the people we want to listen to. Stand up. Thank you. There they are. Look at that group. I want to be with them. They have the real power. They have more power than all of us. Thank you. You've been so good and so supportive. We were supported with the evangelicals, 89%. And we're looking for the other 11%. We don't believe it. As we prepare to celebrate 2.5 centuries of freedom, I am inviting America's great religious communities to pray for our nation and for our people. From the beginning, this has always been a country sustained and strengthened by prayer. So important. If we bring religion back stronger, you're going to see everything get better and better and better. You're going to see it get better and better. So as we chart our course toward the next 250 years, let us rededicate ourselves to one nation under God. Right? And as you know, recently we've seen some of our political system attempting to overthrow the timeless American principles and other pillars of our liberty and replace them with some of the most noxious ideas in human history, ideas that have been proven false. Members of Congress and even former presidents have been openly embracing vile creeds such as socialism, Marxism, and straight-up communism. In New York, they're trying to elect a communist, Zoran Mamdani, the guy who wants to defund the police, take over the stores and run the stores, and have the people hand out goods. And when everything falls apart, it always does. It always works that way. It never has worked any other way. Anarchy and dictatorships prevail. This guy is a communist at the highest level, and he wants to destroy New York. I love New York, and we're not going to let him do that. Generations of Americans before us did not shed their blood only so that we could surrender our country to Marxist lunatics on the eve of our 250th year. As President of the United States, I'm proclaiming here and now that America is never going to be communist in any way, shape, form, and that includes New York City. And under my administration, we're bringing back freedom and liberty, law and order, and above all, we're bringing back common sense, right? Common sense. On day one, I stopped the weaponization of government against people of faith, and we created the Department of Justice Task Force combating anti-Christian bias. And I have to tell you, Pam Bondi is doing a great job. Pam Bondi is doing a great job. Attorney General. I ended the Green New Scam and terminated the insane, this is insane, the electric vehicle mandate where everybody had to have a car that happened to be all electric in the next few short years. The mandate. Some people want to have gasoline powered, some people want to have hybrids, maybe even someday hydrogen. Right now I don't like it because when they blow up, they don't ever find the body. They find the body about 5 blocks away. That does not sound promising to me. They said, no, it's getting better. I said, dude, that's okay. Let somebody else use it. But we're not going to have all electric. We're going to have electric if people want it. Electric is great. But gasoline, people like better in many cases. But you can have whatever you want. But it's ridiculous to mandate that everybody's going to be driving an electric car in 5 years from now. So I ended it. I signed an order to begin eliminating the Federal Department of Education and send education back to the states. That means Iowa's going to run their own education. You're going to have to run your own education. Iowa will, I use you in my thoughts. Whenever I always say Iowa and Indiana, and I'd mention certain states, but you want to run your own education because you don't want the bureaucrats in Washington doing it. And I made English the official language of our country. You would think that would be an easy one. It was not as easy as you think. I directed the reinstatement of all patriots expelled from our military by the Biden vaccine mandate, returning them to their former rank with full back pay. And I signed executive orders to abolish critical race theory and transgender insanity from our schools and from our military. And I made it official policy of the United States that there are only two genders, male and female. What a crowd. Well, I just want to say a very special hello to Iowa. We have had a good time together. We won so much here, we didn't know what to do. There was so much winning here. But we love Iowa, and we won all 3 times. So that's pretty good, and won by a lot. But I'm thrilled to be back in a state that I love, and I really do love it, too, with thousands of proud, hardworking patriots at the world-famous Iowa State Fairgrounds. Thank you. Thank you. 18 months ago, the people of Iowa braved sub-zero temperatures. You remember that night? Oh, that was cold. It was cold, but we were warm inside because we won by a landslide to turn out the first-in-the-nation caucuses, and you delivered 98 out of 99 counties. What the hell county didn't? What's the name of that county? Let's get them out of here. 98 out of 99, that's not bad, Susie, I guess, right? We'll take that. But for President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, thank you very much, everybody. Then in November, we won Iowa.